Hey Loachers, welcome back. Just in the garage doing some chores, you know, little maintenance on the motorcycles. Gonna put them up for the season. But while I was waiting for them to cool off a little bit because I had to run them, I was just thinking about everything that's going on with us. Us meaning the responsible gun owners of America, and how anybody who's anti freedom, basically, is doing everything they can to stop us, control us, and just make life hard to be free. When you're being a responsible gun owner and you're exercising your right given to you by the Second Amendment, and you're being really mature and conscious about being an owner and how that impacts everything around you. Now, one case in point for me is just how many news stories you see on TV about kids with guns, and they're committing violent acts of crime, like really violent, okay? They're killing, robbing, just have no responsibility or value towards human life, right? Or other people's lives, what they've worked hard for, and what they're willing to protect, right? And I don't want to blame anybody in particular for what's going on, but there's a lot of contributing factors out there. And some of these things we have control over and some of them we don't. Okay? So if a person or a kid or whomever it may be is just hell bent on going out and just doing something really just crappy, right? Just exercising their ability to be the lowest form of human on the planet, right? And doing things without any regard for anybody else's safety, or things like that, right? If that person exists, and we know that we do have them on our planet, because all you got to do is turn on the news, there's not a lot you can do to get in front of that, okay? I mean, if they're like really on that road, in the end, they're probably going to be successful at their task, unfortunately. Unfortunately. But there are those that we can try and save, right? You know, kids. Okay, so say you're a parent, single parent, two-parent home, doesn't matter. You're a parent, right? That child is in your care. And as much as a gun or a car or a motorcycle, okay, all things that can cause harm, can be dangerous in the wrong hands, they're your responsibility, right? So do what you can to definitely implant the seed in your children if you have that opportunity, or in anybody else in the household who's unfamiliar, who may be intimidated or afraid, of firearms. Okay? If they're going to exist in the house, number one, secure them. Okay? I get it. You guys have a home defense firearm, you have an everyday carry firearm. You're going to secure those in a way where you can get to them as needed, but are secure. But just like everything else, nobody just has one bike, nobody has just one gun. The guns that aren't used on the regular, secure them. Secure them. That way, nobody can get to them. Whether it be your child or the other person in the home, but somebody that breaks into the house, right, now has your firearm. Okay, it's got your name on it, right? And they go commit an act of violence or crime. smash and grab, carjacking, what have you, right? And now, even though if they are able to catch the person committing this crazy act, now you've got to explain how that person got hold of your firearm, right? And that's not a good position to be in, right? Because although you can say, well, hey, my house was broken into and it was stolen, okay? Now you got to explain how it got stolen. Now, even more importantly, your loved ones at home, your child, your spouse, your whatever pronoun you're banging, it doesn't really matter. Whoever's sharing their space with you, right? And you love and care about them, right? As you should. Okay, so kids are going to be curious, and it could be the sweetest, most responsible child that you have, or your significant other, whoever. Now you got a gun in the house, and they're either afraid of it or they're curious about it. It's time to have conversations with people you share your space with, right? You know, if you're going to keep a gun in the house, I believe, and this is only my belief, okay, everybody that's in the house should know about it, including the dog or the cat or the fish, okay? Everybody should know that there's a firearm in the house or multiple firearms in the house, right? I mean, it just kind of goes without saying, right? Because heaven forbid that whoever you live with or share your space with comes across it, right? And out of nowhere, they're like, well, what the hell is this, right? I didn't know we had a gun in the house. Nobody talked to me about it. I live here too. Shouldn't I have a say-so in, you know, what's in this house and what's... I mean, you're just going to open up that can of worms, right? And then for the curious children or the very young adults, okay, I feel that they need to know that they're in the house, okay? But you are, as a gun owner, a mature gun owner, and a safe gun owner, that you're securing them properly, right? And as early as you possibly can, okay, with that level of comprehension that they develop rather quickly these days, that firearms are not toys, and they're not something that you see in a video game that you get to go run around rampantly shooting people up and stealing their car, you know, or these combat video games, right, where you just shoot a bunch of people up. I mean, people get hurt, people die, right, when people think that they're just toys, okay? You know, mostly kids, right? So, I mean, at an early age, when you feel that they can comprehend what that thing is, that, you know, you can hurt somebody or hurt yourself with this, right? A gun is not dangerous, okay? I can put a loaded firearm on my coffee table, right? Not that I do that on the regular. I'm just making an example. It's not dangerous until a human puts their hands on it. Literally. Argue me that. I dare you. Okay, it's sitting there on the coffee table, can't do anything on its own. Somebody actually has to put their hand on it, whether it be a child or adult. Basically, somebody with no knowledge, no comprehension of what it is curious about it, right? That's when stuff happens. So, again, secure the firearms when not in use, right? And two, have those conversations and start to implement the information that they need to have and are naturally curious about it or might be afraid of it, okay? Give them the good tips as far as gun safety, okay? If they're interested, and hopefully they are, start taking them to the range and showing them how to operate it properly and safely, okay? And emphasize that any firearm or anything that looks like a firearm or resembles a firearm or component of a firearm could potentially be dangerous if you don't act responsibly and safely. Okay, we could go on for hours about gun safety. We might someday, right? But I mean, do your part as a mature, responsible gun owner to make sure that the people that you care about are safe, your firearms secure. That way, somebody you care about just can't get their hands on it and start playing with it, you know? Totally innocent in nature, but could have very lethal results. And then on top of that, if your house, heaven forbid, where it would be broken into and somebody steals your firearms and uses them to do an act of violence, right? That's not something you want to live with. You just don't, okay? And you don't want to lose a loved one because you didn't have a conversation about, hey, this is what it is, this is what it can do, so this is why you have to be very careful, safe, and responsible with it. I'm going to put it away, but one of these days, I'm going to teach you how to use it properly, okay? But until then, I need you to respect this and respect yourself and those that you care about by not playing with this if you ever see it out, because you could really harm somebody that you care about. Okay? Like I said, you can't take the evil out of evil people. They're naturally evil, right? What you could do is kind of decrease the propensity of what evil occurs by filling them with good information and showing them support in their endeavor to explore, but knowing where to draw the line and laying down ground rules, but explaining why. Okay? Just a little blip that popped in my head. I thought I'd get it out there. All right, Loachers. Peace out.